So I was like the token white kid in high school.
In Nebraska.
In Omaha, Nebraska.
On the farm.
Yeah. Well,
that's probably going to go in the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
You just saying that, and then boom.
The token white kid.
Yeah, we'll continue to the rest after that.
Here we are on beautiful Jones Street.
You saw Ted Jones.
Sponsored by Stock L Dreamery, the most delicious vegan cheese on the market. We got original smoked paprika and chili, garlic and herbs, and I'll tell you what, guys, this is the best vegan cheese you'll have. Don't forget the cheddar melt. Enjoy the episode. You know, it was semi a girl preference, and then also, I had to do it. But bro, it's all the dudes that are saying things about it. So this thing goes back and forth, not up and down.
Sweet.
Try on those headphones. See how we're sounding.
Nice setup here, man.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, welcome to the studio. Here, flip that. Your hands are cold. It's chilly out there?
Yeah, dude. It's a little chilly.
It's no joke out there.
Oh, that sounds crispy.
So yeah, so this goes back and forth, just not up and down, okay? That
right.
water's all you.
Appreciate it.
Ready?
Yes.
Set. Action. I love
Awesome.
the sweatshirt, bro.
Thanks,
Faith.
man. Yeah. It's
Let's
like
go, dude.
my buddy's clothing brand back in Nebraska.
Yeah, dude, you're a Cornhusker.
I am born and raised.
You know Andy Roddick, or know about Andy Roddick? He's born in Omaha, Nebraska. You know who Andy Roddick is? Bro, stop.
I swear to God, who's Andy Roddick?
Dude, what?
I'm sorry, Andy Roddick. Who's Andy Roddick?
The tennis player. You never heard of Andy Roddick?
You're a tennis guy. Of
Oh,
course.
yeah, and I'm wearing the TEDJONESWORLD tennis shirt.
Yeah.
Shout out Shop Orsino. Dude, this girl messaged me on Facebook, and one of her friends sent her a screenshot of my profile and was like, this is a vegan tennis player. And like the lady who's the owner of the company is a vegan, and she makes tennis style clothes. So she made me the shirt. It's fresh. And then a sweatshirt that says vegan tennis also. But dude, yeah, Andy Roddick, he won the 2003 US Open, was #1 in the world for like 6 weeks, bro. I cannot believe you don't know Andy Roddick and you're from Nebraska.
Yeah, sorry,
That's
dude.
bad, dude.
We got Warren Buffett. You know Warren Buffett?
That's very true.
Yeah,
it's insane that he still lives in that house.
Dude, the same. I used to drive past it every day to go to college. It's the most inconspicuous house. It's just 2 floors. It's not that big.
Does he actually live there?
Part-time, because his main office is still in Omaha. He
Right.
still just cruises around, gets ice cream at like the local place.
Does he have security guards outside the house though?
No. All he has is a gate. Well, dude, he's like the godfather of Omaha. No one's gonna like go after him.
Yeah.
I mean, he gives a ton of money away to a lot of stuff. So everyone loves him.
Just
there.
like local businesses, charities, and
college,
such like that.
like, scholarships,
So you
stuff
went
like
to, you grew up fully and then went to college also in Nebraska.
Yeah, dude, born and raised.
Where'd you go to college in Nebraska?
University of Nebraska, the Omaha location though, not as cool.
So what's the main location?
Lincoln, that's where the Cornhuskers are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why'd you go to that one?
The Omaha one?
Yeah, it was a little
Cheap,
cheaper,
brother, cheap.
maybe a little easier to get into.
Yeah, cheap.
Dude, that was like I went to UConn, but I went to the Stores location, the main location. So UConn in the Final Four, but right now, as we're releasing this, bro, it's Monday.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're in the finals. We'll see. They're playing
Fingers
tomorrow
crossed
night as we're recording this.
Yeah, my Blue Jays are already out, so I don't care. The
Blue Jays,
Creighton.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Isn't it insane that they're in the Big East?
Yeah,
makes no
dude.
sense.
They used to be in the Mo
But
Valley.
dude, Creighton has been UConn's kryptonite for like the past 4 years. So random, but it makes no sense that Nebraska, the Creighton University, Nebraska Blue Jays are in the Big East.
Yeah.
But anyway, side note. People went to UConn, like people would visit UConn from the Stanford campus or like other campuses and be like, yeah, I go to UConn too, but Stanford and such. Yeah. But hey, you know what? Whatever. At least you got the name.
Man, that's how we kind of were at Omaha too. It's like I go to University.
No one's gonna dig into that if you say you went to the University of Nebraska.
And we still went to the games and stuff all the time. So it's like all the benefits with like a third of the tuition cost.
So how far away was the campus that you went to from Lincoln?
Like 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh, okay. But like in Nebraska, I imagine that's not so long of a drive. Like you do that easily.
Distance-wise, yes.
But time-wise,
no, You just have a couple road beers with you, no
100%,
problem,
dude. A couple Coors Lights,
yeah,
dude. And like growing up in a not big suburban, but maybe sprawling suburban town, I should say, you're just used to driving all the time. Dude, it's like nothing to you.
Everywhere. And the crazy thing is like I was baffled. Everything's really close to New York, but it takes forever to get anywhere.
Yeah,
things can be like 15 miles away on the other side of town, and it's a 20-minute drive.
In Nebraska.
Yeah,
dude. If something's 15 miles away, it would take 3 hours to get there. That's like the Bronx.
Crazy,
dude. Deep in the Bronx.
Yeah, I can't believe how long it takes to get anywhere in New York City.
Yeah. Did you work on the farm growing up?
So my uncle had a farm, and in the summers I go help out. One summer I helped him build a barn. That's like my my big redneck claim to fame is I helped build a barn one summer.
Do you have a picture of it?
Nah, of the barn? No.
Really?
Dude, this was like
4
flip phones
cameras
were still pretty early. No, it's crazy to say like I'm kind of old. Like I remember just flip phones. I didn't get an iPhone until I was 18. So
when you went off to college.
Yeah. I was 12, I think 12 or 13 when I helped him build this barn. I didn't have a phone. I didn't even have a flip phone.
What was your high school experience like?
All right, this is so weird, and you're not gonna believe it. I was like the only white kid at my high school. Yeah.
What was it called? Navajos?
No, black kids.
Really?
I swear to God, dude. All right, so Malcolm X was born in Omaha. I know.
I can't believe I didn't mention him, and I mentioned Andy Roddick instead, right off the top. At least you know who he is. Malcolm X. That's
dude,
good.
That'd be pretty bad. We'd be like, oh, that one guy we scared away. No, okay, he was born there and then dipped right away. But
yeah.
But so there's like a part of Omaha that's like very black. Do you know? You watch boxing at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, Terrence Crawford, Bud Crawford.
Okay.
Yeah, he's from that part of Omaha. So like that was part of Omaha I went to high school in. So I was like the token white kid in high school.
In Nebraska.
In Omaha, Nebraska.
On the farm.
Yeah. Well,
that's probably going to go in the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
You just saying that, and then boom.
The token white kid.
Yeah, we'll continue to the rest after that.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It was sick though, to be honest.
Yeah, you're right. I don't believe that.
I know. I can show you my yearbook. It was.
How big was high school?
My graduating class was like 350. I think we had like 12.
So somewhat normal for a maybe smaller town.
Yeah.
Did a lot of black people migrate to that area because of Malcolm X and him being born there, or
no? We were in the North in the Civil War.
Okay.
So I think we had some people that just kind of. I think Nebraska's not that far from the South, but it's still, you know. So I think we just had some people that fled up there. Like Canada's too far. This is good enough.
Yeah.
I think that's where it came from. Don't quote me on that. I'm not.
Yeah.
Historian,
no, just speculative.
Yeah.
That's super interesting. And did most people who grew up in your town work on a farm? What were the jobs like?
So I'm from Omaha. Omaha's like 1 million people, but I lived on the outside of the town. So like right next to me was a farm. I grew up right next to a farm, but then I would go to school in like the inner city. So I mean like regular everyday job. There's probably more blue collar jobs there to be fair, but like, I mean, we had like Berkshire Hathaway's there. Conagra was there for a long time. We had like a bunch of big companies. Toast, the company that does all the like, restaurant transaction tablets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
more of a new company.
Yeah, so we got a lot of big companies there.
What did your parents do?
My mom's a teacher. My stepdad's a cop.
No way.
Yeah. And my real dad, he does something.
Did you ever have any parties at your house, like smoking weed, and your stepdad cop like needed to bust it down?
Dude,
and send him
no. I remember the first time I went to a friend's house that he was like not sure about. After he picked me up the next day, he's like, show me your tongue. Because he wanted to check and see, like, apparently if you smoke weed and within 24 hours, like, your taste buds are still raised or something. So he was like,
and you can like see the hairs on the tongue or something.
He was hardcore about it.
No way. Did you smoke weed that night?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, but you got away with it?
Yeah.
Let's go, son.
Yeah. Gang.
That's wild.
No, whenever we wanted to fuck off, we would go my cousin's house. And
then you go
house.
to the basement or something, just hang out, drink some brews.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a typical suburban kind of high school life.
Yeah.
You know, going to the basement, smoking beers.
Smoking beers.
What were you gonna say?
We would go hang out this is so lame. We would go hang out at the high school, like Friday night, like 12 a.m. We'd be like, let's go hang out on the football field.
That's not lame, dude. That's cool.
All right. I thought it was like,
well, I grew up in the city, so stuff like that Friday night light stuff when like it's not lit out there, when there's no lights on the field, it must have been sick.
Oh, dude, it was so
Would you guys
fun.
like run 40-yard dashes and stuff?
Yeah, we'd play like we sucked at football. We were so bad.
But were you guys really good at basketball?
We were really good at basketball. One of my friends that was in my homeroom played in the NBA. So yeah, we were good at basketball.
What was his name? Was he like a star player?
No, he was good in college, but he was just kind of like a squad player.
Where did he go to college?
Creighton.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Okay.
he played. Kyrie Thomas is his
But
name.
when
He
did
played at the
Creighton?
Pistons, I think.
When did Creighton start to get really good at basketball? That's been like within the last 10 years.
Yeah.
No?
So, all right. So they were always good for their conference. Like I remember being a kid, like 7, 8 years old, and we'd go watch them play in a mostly empty arena because they were still in the Mo Valley Conference, but they would win that like every single
What is
year.
Mo short for? Midwest?
Missouri.
Missouri.
Yeah, Missouri Valley, because the Missouri River goes through all of them. But they'd win that conference every year, and so eventually they're like, "Hey, look, dude, we're too good for this conference. Let us just come be the sucky team in the Big East." But then we got McDermott, the coach and the player, and we ended up being pretty decent. And then from there, we've stayed pretty decent.
Do you remember Jimmer Fredette?
Yeah.
BYU. Do you
Yep.
know anyone who went to the BYU? Being over near.
I do know one guy that went to BYU.
Is Nebraska touching Utah or no?
No,
Not even close.
no.
How did you know this guy who went to BYU though?
Because he told me he was gonna go to BYU. He was the only
He's a Mormon.
kid I knew.
He's a big soaker.
Yeah, dude, he was a big soaker. He was all right. You know how the missionaries, they go to Africa, they try to convert people.
Yeah.
He was one that got
What do they try to convert them to? Mormonism.
Mormonism. I think he was like from Sudan or something. Like they got him, they converted him.
Wow.
They brought him back. So if you've seen the Book of Mormon, shout out Book of Mormon.
I've never seen that. It's a good play.
Yeah,
or
it's kind of
movie.
what the concept is about. Is these Mormon missionaries go to Uganda and try to convert Ugandan people to be Mormons. They did it. They got this kid, made him Mormon, brought him back to Nebraska of all places, and they went to BYU.
Interesting. How'd you end up in New York?
So I was doing comedy in Nebraska for like 2 years.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Dude, literally everyone.
And you were the top dog?
I wouldn't say the top, but
You
I
were
was
up there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because we had some guys, like they would go do it in they're from Omaha. They go do it in a big city for like a decade.
What's
and
a
then
big
say like,
city?
fuck this.
Like
Chicago, Los Angeles.
Okay.
And then, fuck this. I'm going to go back home where things are easy and cheap. Like we had a guy, he's got some credits. He was good. Do you know Adam Devine from Workaholics?
Yeah.
He's an Omaha kid.
Oh, yeah, right.
So there's guys that were friends with him that were on his show out there.
And then
like,
he was a door guy at Comedy Store.
yeah.
Yeah.
And some of those guys, like they're friends with Adam Devine, but they didn't get what he got. So they did it for a while and then they came back home and just chilled. And we had a couple guys like that. So there was some like talent there, but we probably only had like a dozen comedians.
Oh, wow.
In the entire scene. Like people you'd see regularly.
Were there showcase shows or was it like a big theater that everybody go to every like Thursday, Friday or what?
Yeah, so we
Saturday.
had one indie club. It is so lame. It's the lamest, most PC woke, which you would not expect from like a Republican farm state. But we had a super PC woke indie club. That was the only one you could go to, really. So most of us would drive 2.5 hours to go to Des Moines.
Iowa.
Yeah, to do their comedy club because it was just so much better. So
much traveling out there,
dude,
huh?
So much. All right, so we didn't have anywhere you could get up on Thursdays back home. So we would drive 2.5 hours to Des Moines, do your 5 minutes at the open mic, and then drive 2.5 hours back every Thursday.
What do you think you got from doing the 5 minutes on the open mic that you drove 2.5 hours for?
You want to talk about pressure for a set? It's like, bro, if I bomb, because we carpool, if I bomb, I'm stuck in a car with 4 of my comedian friends for 2.5 hours.
And how long do you wait to go on stage?
Luckily, they were cool. They would throw you up early because they're like, oh, you made the drive. We'll throw you up early. But, dude, being the only one that bombed out of that group of 5 people, that car ride back was brutal, miserable.
Damn, bro.
Just imagine-
Dedication, though.
Yeah, I mean, it also helps that you don't have the distractions of New York. You know what I mean? There's not like a ton of stuff to do. So I was like, all right, I'm going to just do this. It's that or like sit at home and play PlayStation, you know? New York, there's so many different options and stuff. But
When's the last time you were home when you went back?
oh, shit, dude. Actually, not that long ago, early February.
And what do you do now when you go home?
I just bragged to everyone.
about being in New York?
Look at how much better I am.
Well, people
No,
probably
I'm
think
kidding.
that's a big deal, though.
Dude, it's
leaving the
just
small town.
living out here. People
yeah?
are like, whoa. Not even anything about what I'm doing or what's going on with me. They're like, dude, I can't believe you live out there.
That's so
crazy.
interesting to me, man, because I grew up here.
Yeah.
And the thought of being anywhere else, I'm like, it's just too slow. If I go out to LA or Miami, like I'm there for 4 days, even if I'm doing a ton of shows, I'm like, all right, get me out of
Too
here.
slow,
It's too
can't
slow,
do
dude.
it.
Just because I can get 4 things done in 20 minutes living in Manhattan.
Yeah.
You know, like if you wanted to go to CVS, then you want to go to the grocery store, and then you wanted to get a haircut. That takes an hour.
Yeah, bang, bang,
You
bang.
know, like that
100%.
in any other suburban place takes 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, literally, dude. That's your day.
It's insane, man.
I do remember, like, oh, what are you doing Thursday? Like, oh, I think I'm going to go get a haircut. Like, that's the big thing for
that's
the
the
day.
big thing for the day, the big
Yeah.
activity. And also another beautiful thing, like I see you on McDougal Street all the fucking time. Like, dude, walking on McDougal Street, man.
Dude, there's
That's on
nothing
another
like
level.
it.
It's insane.
Yeah,
Getting off of that
nothing
West
like it.
4th, going in front of Fat Black, and then wrapping around the corner, seeing everyone.
Dude, the
It's
first time I saw
insane.
those Comedy
Yo,
Cellar
yo,
lights.
Yo.
Yeah. Oh, because I don't know, but I grew up watching Louis on FX, and that was like the dude that made me want to be a comedian, you know?
He was doing spots at the Lantern, too, in that show.
Yeah?
You ever see that?
I
those
saw the show.
episodes?
Oh, I remember, I vaguely remember
Comedy
that.
Shop now, for those of you who don't know.
check
Margarita
it
Monde,
out.
bro, which you did the other day, and we had to
you.
kick out 3 ladies, which we're going to talk about in a moment.
Or the ones that I brought in.
You might have brought in 2 of them.
Ah,
Yeah,
shit.
it's okay, dude. It happens. It happens. But wait, were you finished with your point? So we can talk about this later. Were you talking about Louis C.K.?
Oh, I was agreeing. It's just crazy going on McDougal Street, seeing the Comedy Cellar lights and all that stuff.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful
super
thing.
cool.
But anyway, so Zach did Margarita Monday the other day, and it was. You ever feel like something goes so poorly, or you hit rock bottom so hard that nothing could ever be worse? That's what I took away from that. I was like, it can never be worse than this, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The 3 girls got kicked out. The attendance rate was low. Other comics were not happy with the heckling ladies.
Yeah.
The thing was, like, I thought it was fine when I was on stage, because I thought that, like, I was handling the ladies well, but then we had the next comic who went on stage who just, like, couldn't get a word in. And then when the bartender told me, he was like, dude, those girls, no more drinks.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, perfect. One of the ladies came out, asked the bartender for a drink, and he told them straight up, like, you guys can't have any more. The lady goes back in the room, and then the bartender goes back in one of the servers goes back to the room and starts taking other people's drinks. And then another lady at that table tried to, like, bring over the server, and she starts talking to him in Spanish. She's sitting in the front row. She's turned around. She's like, pero necesito margaritas porque soy mi feliz cumpleaños. It's my birthday. And I walk in the room. I'm like, all right, I was trying to pull the server out of the room. I was like, dude, get out of here. And the ladies thought that I was telling them, get out of here, which luckily worked well.
Worked out.
So, dude, the girls started walking out. I think they were looking for me for like 5 minutes, but I like hid in the back, and I was like looking through the window, making sure that they didn't make eye contact with me.
Right.
They're like looking around. And then they started talking to other comics about how they love comedy and how they love interacting with comedians and they love comedy shows. Dude. They were just twisted.
Yeah,
and then by the time you went up, they were gone.
Yeah.
Which is a beautiful thing.
There wasn't a ton of people by the time I went up, but they were fun. They were chill.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the thing, though, is like, I feel like now with the rise of like TikTok and Reels and stuff like that, half of the people's perception of comedy is like, oh, I just go and yell at this guy on stage and they say something funny about
that's
it.
interesting.
Dude, and you know, the most vicious audience members in the entire world are middle-aged, drunk, single women.
Yeah, they're not great.
Yeah, just a gaggle of middle-aged ladies that are like, we're hitting the town. Those are the most vicious hecklers, because most of the time, they're not really that mean. So you can't be like, hey, shut the fuck up, and everyone's on your side.
The comic who went on after me, I went on stage, I was like, ladies, you just ruined his set. You need to be quiet the rest of the show.
Yeah.
And then they started talking to the server in Spanish, and then that's when I was like, all right. Indirectly, I was like, all right, you guys got to go. And then they left. But it happens. And I know you've done enough shows to know that that'll happen, even on a freaking Monday at 8:30 p.m., dude.
That's one of the things I love about New York City. There's just 3 middle-aged ladies ripped at 8 o'clock on a Monday.
They weren't all even friends.
Really?
I brought that one lady who was sitting in the back to go sit with those 2 ladies in the front.
Oh, she was just by herself?
No, she was by herself. And I told her to join them. And then that was like the worst mistake of the night.
You created the bomb,
I created the H bomb, dude.
Awesome.
It was nuts. Yeah, man. Good times. But, you know, you look back and You seem to giggle. You know,
Yeah.
seems to be funny, but it was all right, dude.
Dude, I gotta ask you, are you a crystal person? I see the crystals on the table.
Oh, interesting. Those are pretty prominent, huh?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to make them that prominent this particular time, but I guess I am. I'm not really a crystal person. Like I bought those on Amazon, not the Amazon River. I like bought them on Amazon.com. But hey, whatever. Are you a crystal person?
Not at all.
Yeah, dude.
That's why
I don't
was
think
curious.
I'm not like a big crystal person. And having 1, 2, 3, how many are right here, bro? They're like. That can't be good. They're 8 on this little thing, but I guess it's good, bro. We're having a good combo.
Yeah.
You know, they're
they must be
flowing.
doing something.
Must be doing something. But yeah, dude, no, not a big crystal person. It's funny you ask.
Did a lady get you into those, or
No,
one
dude.
day you were just saying, Amazon,
One
like,
day
you
I
know
was
what
on
my table needs?
I was like, all right, this is $6.99. You know, might as well purchase it,
Yeah.
bro. You know,
It's not a bad decoration.
what's
Look at
been your most unique comedy experience thus far being in New York, and then maybe something in Nebraska that other people wouldn't expect?
that? Yeah. Oh wow, New York. So, dude, the very first night I ever got any club spots ever, I was barking at the Pear. I was just around, and someone didn't show up, and they're like, "Do you want to do it?" And I was like, "I will do anything to get on a club stage right now." I've been in New York for like 6 months, only doing shitty open mics. I was still relatively new to comedy, like 2 years in. I was just desperate to get up, so I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'll totally bark." And I get out there and I start barking right away. And who do I see walking towards me? Louis C.K., the dude that
Bro, the Universal just fucking play
Yeah.
some tricks on
Yeah.
gay.
the dude that made me even want to do comedy, and he's walking right
And
towards
there's
me.
no way you said anything to him.
I had to. 100%. I saw him coming. I was like,
shit.
I have to say something
Good
to
for you, buddy.
Thank you.
What'd you say?
I said, "Hey, Louis, do you want to come see a comedy show?" I barked at him, and he like laughed and came over and like shook my hand.
Stop.
And then I just geeked out. I was like, "Dude, I'm sorry to be this guy, but like you're the person that even inspired me to do comedy." And he was like, "Oh, thanks so much, man. Like, have a great set." And then he went into the cellar, and then
Wait, were you in between Minetta Tavern and Cafe Wall?
no, I was at Ben's.
Dude, worst vegan pizza in the city. I hate talking shit, but they have ass vegan pizza, dude.
I like that. That's the takeaway.
Okay, wow, he's just wrapping around the corner, but
Dude, it was so
that's
sick.
so funny, dude.
I've had some crazy barking.
That's one of the most nuts things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Universe playing with you guys.
It was right after Shane Gillis had just dropped his YouTube special.
The
around
Austin
there.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was barking, and he comes up. He's like, "You barking for the Pear at midnight?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, what's up, man? Shane." And he introduced himself to me. I was like, "Dude, you're the hottest comedian out right now. I know who you are."
Not like looks wise, even
Yeah.
though Shane Gillis is a good looking guy.
Shout
But
out
yeah. Hottest, funny wise. Nebraska comedy moment.
I've got a funnier one and then like an unfortunate one. Maybe a couple. All right. Are we limited?
No, dude,
All right.
please.
All right. So one of the first shows I ever got to do back home. This is embarrassing, but I started off as a musical comedian. I started off with a guitar doing funny songs.
Okay.
And so I wasn't really getting like booked much because no one wants the musical guy on their show. So this dude's like, "Hey man, I got a spot for you. Pull up Saturday night. Here's the address. Here's the time, yada, yada." I was like, all right, sick. I show up. It's a strip club. So I'm just standing at the entrance of the strip club with my fucking guitar. And they're like,
You're singing?
and I was like, "I'm here for the comedy show." And like, "Oh yeah, in the basement." So I go to the basement of the strip club
In Nebraska?
in Nebraska for this comedy show. And I show up and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm supposed to be on the show." And the guy running it was like, "We don't know who you are. We don't know what this is about." And the dude who told me to pull up, he comes over and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is Zach. I just didn't feel like doing my spot, so I figured I'd just give it to him." And the booker was like, "You can't just do that. You can't just give away your spot." But the guy ended up letting me have the dude's spot. It actually went pretty well. And that guy,
That's like the house gig now?
yeah, well, that guy that booked the show, he ended up becoming one of my best friends. I was a groomsman in his wedding.
Stop.
Yeah. So
No way.
Yeah.
So he's a booker at a strip club comedy show in the basement?
yeah,
Lit.
it was sick, dude.
Is he's in New York too?
No, he's back in Omaha still.
in Omaha.
Yeah.
What do some of your boys do back in Omaha? And then you have to tell me another Nebraska story.
I've got maybe one friend who is full-time comic out there.
Okay.
He does the bar show circuit in small towns.
And he does road stuff a little bit, or what?
Oh, he's on the road every night.
Yeah.
Just all throughout the Midwest. You go to like a 2,000 person town, they chuck you $200-300 to do a bar show. Because that's their big entertainment
Event
for the night.
Yeah.
And you do a couple of those a week.
Yeah.
Cost of living's pretty cheap back home. Like, you're all right. You're all right.
What's another Nebraska story?
Oh, fuck. I'm trying to think of another good one. Oh, there's one time I got the buddy, stripper booker. He hit me up the last second. It was like 6 o'clock on a Friday night. And he's like, hey, do you want to come do a spot at 7? Like, I know it's really last second, but will you do it? And I was like, yeah, sure. What are the details? And it was at a rehab center for recovering drug addicts. And I thought, how meta, how hilarious would it be if I go do this show at a rehab center for recovering drug addicts while I'm tripping on acid?
No way.
I swear to God, dude. So I show up.
With your guitar?
No. At this point, I was just talking. The guitar didn't last that long. But so I show up. It's kind of starting to hit by the time I get there. And I start doing my set. And it actually starts off okay. But then maybe
How much time were you doing?
Dude, I was doing like half an hour.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Dude, I was doing a long time. And like maybe 10, 15 minutes in, 12 minutes in, it just starts hitting hard. And I'm like fumbling with my words, and like people can see like something's not right with me, and it just starts not going well. And so I was like, listen, guys, I got to be real with you. I'm just tripping balls on acid right now. And I've never seen a group of people all turn and hate me faster than right then. I thought they'd have like a good sense of humor about it. Like, oh, that's crazy.
Bro, I would think that like while you were tripping balls, they would
Yeah.
think that. But like from a sober person looking in, they would probably not think that was funny.
They were not happy. I had one lady. So the guy running it, like I tried to keep doing jokes after that. Nothing. Maybe 2 minutes later, the guy running it goes over to my friend who's hosting. He's like, you got to get him off stage right now. So I got yanked early. I go out to the parking lot, and one of the ladies comes out there and like tries to fight me.
When was this?
Oh, fuck. 3 years ago? I was real early in the comedy still. It's a great story.
It's pretty meta.
Yeah, I thought it was meta. Oh, dude. Sorry, I got 2 more and then I can shut up.
No, please give us all the juice.
So my second time ever doing comedy ever, it was at an open mic, not just a comedy open mic, just open mic. And the girl that's first, that goes up right before me, goes up and does a 5-minute poem about her best friend her. And then they're like, all right, now Zach's going to come tell you some jokes. I was like, dude, this is how you're setting me up? My second time ever doing comedy, and I have to
her best
follow.
friend was a man?
Yes. My second time ever
Was it
doing
funny
comedy.
or like what was
The poem? No, it was not funny.
You need to go into details of it, but like what was it
mood
supposed
just
to be?
got dark.
What was it supposed to be though?
It was a lady crying to a room full of people about this awful experience.
So what? How's that a poem?
She like formatted it like a poem.
Oh my God, I don't even want to.
Dude, it was tough. The
She
whole
like ended on like, and then it went then and then.
It's my second time ever doing comedy, and I have to follow a poem that ended in tears, sobbing.
Like everyone in the
tears.
audience may be crying too.
Oh, it was. You know what though? The set actually didn't go that bad.
Yeah.
It went okay.
Yeah.
That was fun. I think my favorite. This is bad. My girlfriend can't watch this episode. She won't like this story. But yeah.
Give us the juice.
There was this booker. I'm gonna leave her name out.
From Nebraska?
No, at this comedy club in Des Moines.
Iowa.
Yeah, and fuck. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. I already started. We used to have a thing. We used to hook up, whatever.
Dude,
And-
yeah, that's the best way to get spots.
Yes. Yes, dude.
I'm fucking kidding. I'm joking. Go
But
ahead.
it works. And so it was like one of the weekends before I was going to leave Omaha to make the big move to New York. And
So when was that, by the way? 2 years ago?
yeah. I moved January 22. And 2 of my really good friends were on the show. I was not. And she hits me up. She's like, hey, you know, 2 of your very good friends are on the show. You should write out with them and we can hook up. And I was like, yeah, that's a long time to drive.
2.5 hours.
Yeah, to not get any stage time, you know, to just hook
agreed.
up. And she goes, all right, well, I'll put you on the show and then you can just stay over. I was like, all right, sick.
How much time did you do?
Like 12 minutes.
No, I meant in bed.
Oh,
okay. 12 minutes, man. Not bad.
Type 5.
And that was a consistent thing?
Yeah, it was pretty sick. Dude, I was definitely one of those guys when I first started comedy where it was like, I still like edgy stuff. I still like pushing the line. But you know those guys where it's like they just go out there and they say something shocking and like there's no punchline, there's no setup or structure or anything. It's
Low hanging fruit.
Here's me saying something crazy. Yeah. That was definitely how I started off. And so I had like one dude, maybe two that like fucked with me and would book me. But everybody else is like, dude, I can't just have you showing up and talking about, you know, trans pussies and with no punchline or anything.
Right.
So I was struggling for stage time, and the opportunity presented itself, and
to work a job here in New York, and then you came over.
Well, no, to get those spots in Des Moines, and you know, I'm a comic first, so I had to take those spots.
How did you decide to move to New York?
You know, I was actually thinking about going the Austin or Chicago route first. I always knew I wanted to end up in New York. All my favorite comics are New York guys. You know what I mean? I feel like all the greats, they do time here, even if they're not. Like Ari Shaffir started in LA, but he's done his time in New York. Or plenty of other guys backwards, like Bill Burr. He did his time here and then moved to LA. So I feel like if you want to be good, you got to put your time in here. And so I knew eventually I wanted to get here, but I was like, man, I should probably go to like a mid-tier city first and build my chops before I jump out here. And there's this guy, Zach Peterson. Shout out Zach Peterson. He did Chicago for like 7 or 8 years. Went to LA for a little bit and then moved back to Omaha, and I was picking his brain about it. And he goes, all right, dude, I spent 7 or 8 years in like a mid-tier city, Chicago. I got to the point where I could go up at any place I wanted to. I was passed everywhere.
Chicago.
Yeah, I was a full-time like working comic. Like I do road stuff all the time. I was paying my bills with stand-up. I had gotten to where I needed to go. And I said, all right, now it's time to make the jump, move to one of the A cities. And I moved to LA and I just start all over again. I was working a day job. I was back at open mics.
Wow.
And, you know, I'm in my mid-30s. I just went from being a comic to having to start at the bottom. And he goes, if you just want to end up in New York, just go there now, because you don't want to have to restart after you put in almost 10 years somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a crazy point. You know, you even see that with guys who have made the move to New York. I've seen like, you know, who have done 5 or maybe even 6 years in a Chicago or LA, and then now they're back in New York. And anytime they go home, they're like the top dog. They can headline, you know, do 30 minutes feature, whatever it is. And then they come to New York and it's tough to, it's not starting over, but I mean, you're new.
Yeah.
You know, people don't know you like they know you in other places.
Exactly. You're starting over networking and wise, for sure.
Definitely. And if you're not coming in with like a million followers on Instagram or on TikTok, it's hard to get stage time just being like a really solid comic. Yeah. You know, because there's so many different aspects now.
Well, and there's so many comics, in New York City. It's crazy. When I first moved, the first open mic I ever went to here, I was like, half these guys would be like the top guy back home.
That's interesting.
The standard out here is just so high.
Like, dude, we've had on this pod, bro, I've probably had over 200 comics on this podcast. Yeah. And like there's still more to come on.
Oh yeah, dude, it's a never ending.
Yeah, it almost feels like that.
Yeah. And back home we had a dozen. Like, I'm not even kidding. 12 people that you like would see out regularly. So to come out here, there's just a million of them.
Well, it sounds like that was really good advice by your boy.
Yeah,
just going there and like advice to any comic who is maybe in a smaller market and they're thinking about making the jump to a major city, Austin, LA, or New York. Yeah, you got to just go there. Yeah, go there before you're even ready. Yeah, you know, build there.
For sure, because it sucked. Don't get me wrong. Like, because open mics back home, they're like bar shows essentially. There's regular people at open mics.
What's been the best part about moving to New York? And your girl lives here?
Yeah, she's a New Yorker, so that she already knows. She doesn't understand the Midwest at all. I took her back home, and she was like, "What the fuck is all this? This is crazy." Dude, we went out to a bar back home in like the popular area where like I would call it like similar to like a McDougal Street, but back in Omaha, like that's the best we got. You know what I mean? So like a place where the drinks are going to be the most expensive. There's the most people out. And I think
$10 margaritas.
No, dude. She got like a tequila soda, which in this on McDougal Street here is like $10-12. It's $4 back home. She lost her mind.
She's like, I'll take 3.
Yeah, like $4. Are you kidding me? So, but craziest thing about New York so far, in a good way or a bad way?
I think you could give us both. Give us yin and yang. Just because, I mean, it's so different from where you grew up, man. That's why I'm so curious.
I think people here are in more of a survival mindset, which makes sense because there's so many people here and everyone's scrapping for like not a ton of resources. You know what I mean? Like,
whoa, that's fucking deep.
But you get what I'm saying,
dude.
though, right?
Like you grew up next to a farm, a fucking huge farm.
Yeah,
where you can go, you can get that corn, you can have that corn, you can have that corn,
pumpkin sometimes.
You can have a pumpkin sometimes. If you're living in an apartment building, man, you don't know your neighbors. There's no grass outside.
Yeah, dude,
you gotta get out there and get it.
Everyone, literally, the hustle here is crazy. Everyone back home, you have a house, you have a yard, you have a car, maybe 2 cars. You know your neighbors. Like you work 8 hours. You don't work more than that. Sometimes less even. Like it's just so, everything's cheap. Everyone's friendly. It's just so laid back, easy going, slow paced. And then I came here and it's like bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
Like it took me, I was shell shocked at first.
Yeah, dude,
like,
I think I heard you the other day, Margarita Monday. Sometimes you're in New York and you're like, what the fuck? Then other times you're like, all right, it's chill.
There are some days where I'm like, this, you know, like the night I met Louis and I was like, this is the craziest thing ever. This is so cool. I love this city so much. And then
something happened the next day.
Oh, dude, the night that I just got a ticket for jumping the turnstile because this city's so expensive. I couldn't afford it when I first got here. And I got a ticket. I was so pissed. And then on the train ride after that, I watched a cop watch a homeless dude shit on the train. Like literally pulled his pants down and squats like this.
You can get up. No, you can get up and we'll move the camera. Go ahead. Get up.
No,
get up. That was it?
That's how he did it, though. That's how he did it. He held his hands right here and just squatted like this and just shit on the floor of the subway. And I watched a cop watch him do this. And then the cop just got off on the next stop. Nothing. I'm like, all right. So me, like a young guy who's just trying to fucking survive in the city on my way to this low paying job, you're trying to suck every penny out of me. But this dude who's showing his ass and literally taking a shit on the subway, like you're not doing anything about that.
So the best part is seeing your dreams come true. And the worst part is like, you know, the survival mode.
Dude, yeah, everyone's in survival mode here. Everything's expensive. Everyone's like kind of on edge. It's real scrappy. Like, but sometimes you like, it's a Friday, Saturday night sold out show in the Village or something. And the crowd's hot and you're up there just doing your shit. And it's like, wow, dude, I'm doing comedy in New York City. It's crazy.
And it's wild how I'd say 95% of comedians just want to do spots, you know, and are not as focused at initially, for sure. Like within the first 3 years, 4 years, people are like, all right, you just want stage time. Does it really matter if you're getting paid $20 for a spot or not getting paid for the spot, or maybe even getting $100 for a spot? It's just the adrenaline of performing in front of people and bringing the inner child back to life.
Yeah.
You know, like, dude, think about if you were allowed to do that in second grade, like go in front of a class of 20 second graders.
And just fart in front of all your friends.
Exactly, dude. And be like, just be a knucklehead up there and everyone's like, ha, 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 Zach is so funny. Ha, ha. The teacher's laughing. Ha, ha. And then the teacher's like, Zach, you want to do that every Tuesday at 8 p.m.? It's exactly like that. And I think people on the outside looking in might not understand that as much, but I tell you who does understand that is the people who work in comedy and the people who are booking us and the people who own the comedy clubs understand that. And the managers understand that. Everybody who's in comedy adjacent type of jobs understand how much comedians love to go on stage, and while that does benefit us, sometimes it's doesn't benefit us, because they also know, like, I don't want to say how desperate we are. Yeah. Like you were saying initially, you were like, I would do anything to get on to bark and go and freaking get on stage. Yeah, and you saw Louis at that time, Yeah,
to work for free. Like I was dying to just work for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's also a funny thing. Like when you think about dates and stuff, like going on a date, you're like, oh my god, this chick is so hot. Will she go on a date with me? Will she go on a date with me? Will she go for drinks with me? Like you're like, please just take my money. Take my money. Yeah. You don't even have to be interested in me. Just let's go on a date. This or that.
Comedy is a delicious vixen.
Yeah, dude. Straight to the arms. Yeah. I think that's what, I can't remember if it was Chappelle or Chris Rock said that. It's just like straight to the veins.
Yeah, dude. It is, I think, especially in New York, bookers and stuff, that get away with it more because
there's so many
of us.
So many.
And there's new people that move every day.
Yeah.
I just met like a dude yesterday. He was like, yeah, I just moved here from Arizona. Like.
Is he like the big dog in Arizona?
Probably. Everyone's
don't even know.
Yeah, everyone's the big dog from where they come from when they move here.
That's true. That's true. Like, yeah, you were the big dog in Nebraska.
Yeah, but to be fair, there was 12 people I had to compete with. So it's not like the pool was high.
Yeah, but still, you gotta come from somewhere.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is insane.
Well, and that was the thing too, is I had worked like a 60, 80-hour week job that I couldn't fucking stand, and I was like, I can't do this, dude. I'd always wanted to do comedy ever since I was like 14, and so I was like, I'm just gonna go for it. And if I really want to take this serious, it's not gonna happen in Omaha. So I packed my bags and jumped out here.
How old were you at that time?
When I finally decided like I'm doing this for real, I was 24. The first time I ever went on stage, I was 20, but I was really inconsistent between 20 and 24. So I don't really account that into my time as a comedian.
That's kind of like my first, I guess, 3 years. I wouldn't count it really as well because I was inconsistent AF. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Dude, and you don't realize until you start doing a lot of spots, you don't realize what that does to you. So I remember like when I first started regularly getting like 12, 15 spot weeks, just that different gear that you jump into compared to like when you're just doing the 5. It's like, oh man, like this is just a different game. Like I tease my friends back home. I say like, dude, you guys, you have a hobby. Like you're not comedians. You're not doing comedy. Like
getting to them.
Well, like I'm giving them shit. I'm fucking with them. But you know what I mean? It's like a different, because people out here, this is their life. This isn't just like, oh, this is something I do for fun after I clock out of work. And, if I'm not feeling it, I'll just stay home today. It's like, no, this is people's livelihood out here. This is their entire life. They've foregone relationships, foregone like careers that they could have had in other fields. They've given up living with their family. Like people out here are committed and you just can't compete with that. You know what I mean?
Zach, well said, bro. Dude, thanks, this has been a great freaking episode.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, me too. Dude. Thanks so much for coming on. So before we get out of here, we're popping up your Instagram. Let us know where we can find you. Today is Monday. If you have anything coming up exciting or it's on your Instagram, please let us know.
Oh, today's Monday. Yes. Where am I at next week? I'll be at Brooklyn. Oh, they just changed their name. Old Man Hustle all weekend. Grizzly Pear, Saturday midnight. Come check me out.
You post on your Instagram, though, where the shows are at?
Yeah, I'll post it on my IG.
All right, love it. Zach, thanks so much for coming on. Guys,
thanks for having me.
What a freaking amazing episode. Just a small town guy moving to New York, pursuing his passion. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Peace.